I'm always looking for a new way to express myself. You know, I just did a picture in Bangkok with two Chinese twin brothers and an all-Thai crew because I thought that they would bring a new me out. You know, when you keep doing it, it's been 30 years now, you got to find new ways of reinventing yourself. And if you can't find it on your own, you got to go into the most strange places to see if they can find it for you.
Yeah.
Now I'm working with a German and a great artist and see what his sensibility is. What can he see in me and bring out? There was a lot of fear to do yet another movie in New Orleans. I've made 4 pictures here, this is my 5th, and I was afraid to come back and do another movie, and when I'm afraid to do something, I know I have to do it because I have to face the fear and get over it and work through it. And so those were the main reasons. Also, the idea of a landscape of drugs without drugs was interesting to me. Unlike leaving Las Vegas, where I thought, well, let's see what it's like to do some scenes drunk. This time I wanted to do it dry because I thought I could tap into that energy, that imagination, the history or the memories that are filtered through the imagination or what create the impressionistic landscape. I'm not looking at the landscape while I paint that's in front of me. I'm going back to memory and trying to give you an impressionistic landscape of that experience that happened so many, many years ago. New Orleans is a city like nowhere else in the world. And we already have Bad Lieutenant in that part of the world. Why not? Because it's a new movie entirely, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, let's give it a cultural zeitgeist that we haven't seen before. To me, it's a much more existential kind of movie. The original was still very much within a Judeo-Christian program, which I liked, and I thought Harvey was outstanding, and I think Abel Ferrara is a great filmmaker, and I've almost worked with him. And I really liked King of New York, and I mean, he's just excellent. But I felt with Werner that we would go into the abstract and we would deprogram the Judeo-Christian construct and go into something more like life. That, you know, the good guys do not always win, you know, and there isn't always repentance and guilt. You know, it goes into other areas that are more abstract. In his other pictures, I had seen the connection with the cosmos, and I wanted to go there. I didn't want it to just be a straight-up cop movie. I want to go into the other energies that are around us that are invisible. You know, he was always devoted to the idea of Eva Mendes in that part. And I have worked with her twice now, and I'm going to say that she really, and I told her this, she's very fluid and very, she has this ease about her now that is really exciting to watch and work with. There's this great moment where she pulls the gun, she goes, "You better love me." And I cracked up when she did that, and I was happy to see that that was in this cut. You know, Val is somebody that I've admired for a long time, and we used to correspond. Like, I didn't know him very well, but I'd seen him in Tombstone and The Doors, and he's always good, and it's inspiring to see another actor have that kind of gift and use it to excellent effect. And so being able to work with him on this was, it definitely, you know, he has a great sense of humor. He's off the wall. He's kind of, sometimes Val's like static electricity and you don't know what's going to happen. And I like that kind of unpredictability, that, you know, the snow is there. But he's also formidable. you know, so that when you have that level, you want to work hard. You want to both stay in the frame together and spar a little bit and hopefully improve each other's game. I think it was, I don't know exactly the dialogue, but it was in Tootsie, I think, or Bill Murray had a great character in that where he said, you know, someone said the movie was great, and I'm paraphrasing now. He was playing a film director or a play director or something. It's been a long time, but something like, somebody said to me that the movie was great. You know, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the movie was great. I want people to go look at the movie and say to themselves, what the fuck was that? And in a way, that's right, because I want people to think that way, because I want them to go and try to look at it again. And it's always better when a movie raises more questions than answers.
Working with Nick is just, it's great because we have a really great rapport and a natural chemistry. I think I really care about him, and I'm a genuine fan. I really think that he's one of those, he's got that really quirky sense of humor and that rare kind of, he's just attractive in this very offbeat kind of way, and I just really respond to that, and I just think he's a tremendous actor, and he really goes for it, which is something that I love and admire, because a lot of actors, especially movie stars, are really fearful of going for it, and Nick just goes for it all the way. I really respect that. Yeah, other directors, you know, usually they go from like a wide shot to a medium to your close-up, and it's very formulaic, and I mean, it's fine, but I've never really thought about it, actually. I always think about just doing the work, and then on this film, I've realized that Werner likes to do everything in pretty much a two-shot, and it's pretty incredible because what it does is it keeps you completely in the moment, and you really get to play off your co-stars, and to play off what's going on in the scene, versus, you know, just concentrating on your close-up, which has just always been kind of uncomfortable for me. So I find it's just kind of a dream way of working. When I get to set, that's when Werner and I talk about the scene. It's interesting because he doesn't like to talk about future scenes. He's very in the moment, in the present. He's taught me a lot about that, just by example. We've never had a discussion about it, but every time I've asked him about something in the future, he says, no, we're not there yet, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay. I like that. We're not there yet. We're here right now. So it's more about like getting here. We change dialogue. We change all kind of things. And so we wait till the moment of that. Werner is like nobody else I've ever worked with. He knows exactly what he wants. He knows exactly how to get it, and he does it quickly. And it's really an experience like I've never had, like none other. I feel completely committed in it, yet it's healthy. It's not like it's like this grueling schedule and a grueling way of working. It's a very healthy atmosphere that he creates, and I feel like I can go certain places and that I'm safe. It's like a perfect combination.
I play Pat McDonough, who's a retired cop. He might have had a problem later years of his life. He's a recovering alcoholic, and he's the father of the character played by Nick Cage, Terrence McDonough. And you kind of know from a subtext and some things that are textual that they've had probably a bumpy history, you know, but they're trying to get it together now. You know, I've been watching Werner since his early days, or since I can remember him being a filmmaker with Klaus Kinski, all of those great movies, and I remember reading everything there was to read about Fitzcarraldo and the making of Fitzcarraldo, like you're doing, The Burden of Dreams by Les Blank, brilliant film. So I've always been fascinated with his work. And you know that I don't know if everybody knows, he went to Kuwait during the Gulf War in '93 Didn't have a camera crew, no equipment, nothing, but he commandeered equipment and a crew and made a documentary, The Burning Oil Fields of Kuwait. So he's a different kind of guy.
The photographic approach for this film is, it should be a film noir, and the main difficulty on this script is that most of the scenes are playing during the day outside, exterior, which makes it very hard to make a film noir look. So we created a kind of film blanc look. This means day scenes which somehow look dark. So this is what we tried. We tried to find dark clouds and find weather which would fit in this image. I think that's a good image, that every partnership should be like counterparts. I think it is. He sometimes he complains that I'm trying to bring in some aesthetics, and he says he doesn't like it. He wants to have these real things and the essential things, and I try to bring the beautiful things, which is sometimes wrong, sometimes right. Sometimes it's the things which is the situation turns in gets a different touch, you know. And I think he likes it too, because otherwise he wouldn't work with me for so many years. And then I told Werner, yes, we need some lights for the actors, and he said, just set up the light. The light will find the actors. And this is very true about his approach to the work. It always works somehow as a reality works. In the reality, nobody is in a beautiful light. Everybody is somewhere, and in this light which is there at that moment when somebody moves there. And this is something which creates this illusion of realism, of reality. Sometimes he creates chaos in situations where everybody says, "Is that necessary?" That's not necessary, but in reality, it's for him. It creates this chaos, and everybody is attentive, and everybody is concentrated, and then something happens. Even sometimes goes something wrong, but this brings the real kick into the scene and turns it to something special. Niklas is, I think he is very shy, and he is very professional. I think he's the most professional I ever worked with. America is a very co-productive environment, because the people, everybody is like, everything is possible, and people make things happen. People don't block things. They really try to help and to make things happen. That's the thing. And America is a big country of film industry. There's so much space for indie stuff and for real things, or for films or people who try to search reality, who try to search something different, not just mainstream, and Werner is one of them. I mean, he is one of the biggest artists of this century.
The idea that an imperfect cop would be in love with a woman who made her living as a prostitute there was a kind of outsider status to both of them. These were two people who were in love outside of the world, and their relationship was theirs. And nothing, not her going to bed with other guys for money, not him being pulled in 6 directions at once, would obliterate that. And to me, that provides a kind of emotional bottom for this movie. You know, it gives it you know, I never wanted to view these people as oddities. I never wanted to view them as freaks. I wanted to view them as people who were outsiders. One of the things that characterized the murder victims in this movie, which is a family of African immigrants, was that a guy like Nick's character feels himself to be outside of the world. Here's a family living in an American city who are very much outside this world, and they're killed. And Nick, I think, looks at them and feels a sense of commonality with them, and feels as though he needs to, at the very least, their deaths can't go unnoticed, their deaths can't go unrecognized. Somebody killed them, that person needs to be called to account. One of the things that Werner said to me when we came to New Orleans was to allow locations to suggest scenes, to try to reimagine the script in a different place, and to let that place be an inspiration. And that was a very valuable thing for me, and I think it resulted in a script that is not accidentally in New Orleans, but is rather intentionally in New Orleans.